Jimmy Haslam just did the unthinkable. The Cleveland Browns owner, the man who's made terrible decision after terrible decision for over a decade, just personally intervened in a trade negotiation and forced Andrew Berry to pull the trigger on a deal that nobody in the organization wanted to make. Jerry Jeudy, the talented young wide receiver the Browns acquired just last year to be a building block for the future, is being shipped out. And it's not because he failed. It's not because he asked for a trade. It's because Haslam is panicking, making emotional decisions and overriding his own front office in ways that are destroying whatever credibility the Browns had left. The team that's getting Jeudy just pulled off highway robbery. The return Cleveland is getting is embarrassing, and the reason this trade happened exposes a power struggle inside the Browns organization that's way uglier than anyone realized. This is owner meddling at its absolute worst. February 11th, 2026, 11:32 a.m. Eastern Time. Ian Rappaport tweets breaking news that sends shockwaves through the NFL. The Cleveland Browns are finalizing a trade to send WR Jerry Jeudy to the Denver Broncos in exchange for a 2026 fifth-round pick and a conditional 2027 sixth-round pick, per sources. Deal expected to be official within hours. The reaction is immediate and brutal. NFL analysts can't believe what they're reading. Browns fans are in meltdown mode, and front office executives around the league are texting each other asking the same question: what the hell is Cleveland doing? Because this trade makes absolutely no sense. Jerry Jeudy is 27 years old, coming off a solid season where he had 58 catches for 578 yards and 4 touchdowns, despite playing in a dysfunctional Browns offense. He's a former first-round pick with elite speed and route-running ability. He's on a reasonable contract, and the Browns just acquired him last year from Denver in a trade, giving up a third-round pick to get him. Now they're trading him back to Denver for a fifth-rounder and a conditional sixth. That's a massive loss of value. That's organizational malpractice. And according to sources who are leaking information at an alarming rate right now, this trade happened because Jimmy Haslam personally demanded it. Let me take you inside what actually went down over the past 72 hours, because this story is about way more than just Jerry Jeudy. This is about an owner who can't stop interfering, a general manager who's losing control, and a franchise that's eating itself alive from the inside. The Jerry Jeudy saga starts back in March 2025, when Andrew Berry traded a 2025 third-round pick to the Denver Broncos to acquire the young receiver. At the time, it made sense. The Browns needed weapons for Deshaun Watson. Jeudy was a change of scenery candidate who had underperformed in Denver but still had elite physical tools. Berry believed a fresh start in Cleveland with better quarterback play could unlock Jeudy's potential. But it never really clicked. Jeudy had decent moments in 2025, but Watson's injuries and inconsistent play meant Jeudy never got the targets he needed to put up big numbers. The offense was a mess. The coaching staff changed mid-season, and by the end of the year, Jeudy was just another talented player wasted in Cleveland's dysfunction. Still, heading into the 2026 offseason, nobody expected the Browns to trade Jeudy. He was young enough to be part of the future, his contract was manageable, and with Davante Adams now in Cleveland alongside Amari Cooper, having Jeudy as the third receiver created one of the deepest receiving corps in the league. But then, everything changed last weekend. According to multiple sources with direct knowledge of internal Browns conversations, Jimmy Haslam became obsessed with salary cap flexibility after the David Njoku trade. Haslam saw the Browns add Davante Adams' expensive contract and realized the team was going to be in even worse cap shape than before. And Haslam, who's not a football person, who doesn't understand roster construction or player value, decided the solution was to cut costs by trading Jerry Jeudy. Sources say Haslam called Andrew Berry into a meeting on February 9th and told him to explore trading Jeudy to free up cap space. Barry reportedly pushed back, arguing that Jeudy was a valuable asset, that trading him for pennies on the dollar made no sense, and that the Browns needed depth at receiver. But Haslam wasn't interested in Barry's opinion. According to sources, Haslam told Barry that the Davante Adams trade was a mistake financially, that the Browns couldn't afford to keep 3 high-priced receivers, and that Jeudy needed to go immediately. Barry, realizing he was being overruled by ownership, started making calls to other teams. But here's the problem. Everyone in the league knew the Browns were desperate to move Jeudy. Word had already leaked that Cleveland was shopping him, and when teams know you're desperate, they lowball you. The Denver Broncos, Jeudy's former team, called immediately. They knew Jeudy's strengths and weaknesses better than anyone. They also knew the Browns had 0 leverage, so Denver offered a 5th-round pick and a conditional 6th-rounder that would only become a 5th if Jeudy hit certain performance incentives in 2026. That's an insulting offer for a 27-year-old receiver with proven talent, but according to sources, Jimmy Haslam told Andrew Barry to accept it. Haslam wanted the deal done quickly to free up cap space and to prove he was in control of personnel decisions. Barry reportedly fought it. He called other teams trying to get better offers. The Philadelphia Eagles showed mild interest, but wouldn't go higher than a 5th-rounder. The Kansas City Chiefs asked about Jeudy but balked at his salary. Nobody was willing to give the Browns fair value because everyone knew Cleveland was being forced to sell. And then, according to sources, Haslam gave Barry an ultimatum. Take the Denver offer, or Haslam would fire Barry and make the trade himself through someone else in the organization.
That threat is nuclear. It means Haslam was willing to publicly humiliate his own general manager and undermine the entire front office structure just to force through a trade that makes the Browns weaker. Barry had no choice. He accepted the Denver offer, and the trade was finalized this morning. The reaction around the NFL has been absolutely savage toward the Cleveland Browns. Former NFL executives are calling this one of the worst trades they've seen in years. One former GM told ESPN, "You don't trade a young, talented receiver for a 5th-round pick unless you're completely desperate or completely incompetent." The Browns are both. Analysts are questioning whether Andrew Barry can survive this. If ownership is overruling him on trades, if Haslam is making personnel decisions, then Barry is just a figurehead with no real power. And if that's the case, why would any talented executive want to work in Cleveland? Browns fans are in revolt. Social media is flooded with angry posts demanding Haslam sell the team. The hashtag #SellTheBrowns is trending nationally. Fans are organizing protests outside the Browns facility. The relationship between ownership and the fan base is at an all-time low. But the most damaging reaction is coming from players inside the Browns locker room. According to sources, multiple players are furious that Jerry Jeudy was traded. He was popular in the locker room, worked hard, never complained despite the dysfunction, and now he's being shipped out for scraps. Players see this as more evidence that Cleveland doesn't value loyalty, doesn't have a plan, and can't be trusted to build a winner. One player, speaking anonymously to a reporter, said, "How are we supposed to believe anything the front office says when the owner can just blow up the roster on a whim? Jerry didn't do anything wrong. He got traded because ownership panicked about money. That's not how you build a championship team." Another player said, "If they can trade Jerry for nothing, they can trade anyone. Nobody is safe. We're all just assets to be moved whenever ownership gets nervous." That kind of sentiment is toxic. It destroys trust. It makes players hesitant to invest in the organization, and it makes free agents think twice before signing with Cleveland. Meanwhile, the Denver Broncos are celebrating. They just reacquired Jerry Jeudy, a player they know intimately, for basically nothing. A 5th-round pick is throwaway value for a starting caliber receiver. Denver fleeced Cleveland, and everyone knows it. Broncos fans are already making memes mocking the Browns. Social media is filled with jokes about Cleveland being the worst-run organization in sports. And the national narrative is once again that the Browns are a laughingstock that will never escape their own dysfunction. But here's where this story gets even darker. Because the Jerry Jeudy trade isn't happening in a vacuum. It's part of a pattern of Jimmy Haslam interfering in football operations and making terrible decisions. Haslam is the one who pushed to trade for Deshaun Watson and give him a fully guaranteed contract despite all the red flags. That decision has crippled the franchise financially and set them back years. Haslam is the one who's fired 7 head coaches since buying the team in 2012. He's meddled in coaching decisions, undermined his own hires, and created a culture of instability that drives away talent. And now, Haslam is the one forcing Andrew Berry to trade Jerry Jeudy for garbage value just to save a few $1 million in cap space, even though the Browns are already so far over the cap that this trade doesn't actually solve anything. This is not how successful NFL franchises operate. Successful teams have clear organizational structures where football people make football decisions and ownership stays out of the way. But in Cleveland, ownership is making football decisions despite having no expertise, no track record of success, and no accountability when those decisions fail. Andrew Berry is reportedly furious but powerless. He built his reputation as one of the smartest young executives in football. But in Cleveland, he's being reduced to a puppet who executes ownership's bad ideas. If this continues, Berry will likely leave at the first opportunity, just like every other talented executive who's tried to work for the Browns under Haslam's ownership. As of right now, the Jerry Jeudy trade is expected to become official by the end of the day on February 11, 2026. Jeudy will undergo a physical in Denver, sign his new contract paperwork, and officially become a Bronco again. The Browns will receive a 5th-round pick in the 2026 draft and a conditional 6th-rounder in 2027. And Cleveland will be left with another example of organizational dysfunction, another talented player wasted, and another reason why free agents don't want to sign there and why draft picks don't want to be selected by them. The Jerry Jeudy trade isn't just bad asset management. It's a symptom of a much deeper disease. The Cleveland Browns are broken because ownership is broken. And until Jimmy Haslam either sells the team or completely removes himself from football operations, this cycle of failure will continue. Jimmy Haslam forced the Jerry Jeudy trade against Andrew Berry's wishes, and the return is embarrassingly bad. This isn't just a terrible deal, it's proof that the Browns are broken at the ownership level, and no amount of talented players or smart executives can fix a franchise where the owner makes emotional, destructive decisions. Cleveland just became the laughingstock of the NFL again, and it's entirely self-inflicted.